You are now locked in to the Sitting Down with the Sisters podcast.
I think, that investing your partner, like their development, is something that most people should do. But I think a lot of people shy away from it, so I think it's a good topic.
I don't know if I'd say they shy away from it, but I think a lot of people just don't want to put in the work. A lot of people want someone that's already fully made, perfectly done for them. Like
no
literally come in,
flaws.
like Santa's delivered them on Christmas Day through the chimney. They've dropped them under the Christmas tree, and they're ready to unravel and unpack their Christmas gift. And it's the perfect person. Do you know what? At the end of the day, if dating was like that, it'd probably be easier for a lot of us. Do you know what I mean?
Do you think so?
The reason why is because the people that are single, the people that haven't found someone, it's not as if maybe they're not looking. For those that are looking anyway, that haven't found, if you ask them the reason, it's probably because they just haven't found the right one. They haven't found the person that they think they could spend the rest of their life with. But if Santa delivered a perfect man, you'd be with him. Isn't it just like that? Or
no,
am I simplifying it a bit too much?
I think there's definitely that to it. I also think when people say stuff like that, it comes from a place of fear in regards to they don't want to invest or build, or for example, like the main thing that I always used to see on Twitter was they don't want to build a man up, because when you build him up, you're essentially building him up for another woman.
It's what they call it, a boyfriend fluffer.
It's always that narrative, like, oh, you'll build him up, you'll help him essentially when he has nothing, and then when he gets everything,
he'll leave you behind.
He'll leave you for someone else, or he'll leave you behind, right? So I think essentially that comes from that's why I say it comes from a place of fear, because a lot of people, they don't want to waste their time. And I get it, but I don't think that should be a reason to not want to invest in your partner, because naturally that's what you're going to do anyway. The same way you invest in your friendships, like for example our friendship, there might be one out of the three of us that might be feeling low, and we're going to have to put in extra work. And when I say extra work, like we're just going to have to be there for you, support you, encourage you while you're going through the phase that you're going through. So naturally that's also going to be the same in relationships. Your partner isn't always going to be 100. He or she isn't always going to be the best of the best. They're going to go through highs and lows, valleys and mountains. And I think it's subjective as well. It's how you define what investing in someone looks like.
Before we go ahead, let's do an intro.
Hi guys, bonjour,
bonsoir.
Welcome back to the Sitting Down with the Sisters podcast. Yes, we are your hosts.
I'm Ashley.
I'm Ayo.
Je m'appelle Temi.
I like it so much.
Yes. And we're just going to go right back here into the conversation. But obviously, follow us on all our platforms.
SDWTS podcast.
Thank you, Ashley. Bless you. And we're gonna go back in. I think your point was very good, and it just made me think of something that was trending, I think most recently. But it started, I think, last year or the year before. There's this guy on Twitter, and I think on Instagram too. His name is Solomon Bucci, and he's a Nigerian influencer or something. And there was one day, I think he was doing a tribute to his partner. I think she's his fiance or maybe his wife now. And he was saying, she's not the most beautiful.
I saw
she's
this.
Not the most intelligent.
Oh my god!
And
how embarrassing!
But I still pick her essentially. And
now she should be so lucky.
And now they've started a podcast, where so basically he had that viral moment.
It's mad.
I remember this as well.
Viral moment at that time. And then now they've started their podcast where they've now taken the time to discuss that viral moment. In fact, actually,
sorry, did she respond to this?
Yes. Do you know what it is? I'm actually going to play the clip because it's a very short clip, and then we can discuss it. So
yes, please, because I haven't seen the
copyright things.
They can be, please. It's free content.
You know you're not the most beautiful woman here.
Yeah, sure. And you're not the most handsome man either. So.
Of course. And you actually know you're not the most brilliant woman in the world.
Yeah. And you too, you're not the most intelligent.
Of course. But now, what now?
To me, it was just so profound. Like...
Profound man.
Be coming down. It was honestly so profound. found. Like, I absolutely, to date, okay, well, there was one that he gave me for my birthday that has top tits now. But literally, before the one that he gave me recently, it was my favorite letter that he had ever written.
Like you said, it was liberating. I think that a woman should be able, or a man or your partner should be able to walk into a room and actually see people that, quote unquote, seem better than them, but are still very confident that, oh, my partner actually
Will still choose me.
Like, I don't care if it's Beyonce. I don't know if she's...
So that's the
Ashley, first of all, Ashley looks like she's gonna cry. Can I start? I just want to say quickly, the point that they're trying to make, I agree with, but the way that they've constructed the examples and just how they've put it together is wrong.
Yeah,
I get the point, because at the end of the day, I was literally speaking to someone about this the other day. Regardless of how many people are in the world, how beautiful all the other women are, how intelligent, how much money they have, I still want my partner to still be able to choose me regardless. I get that point, and on their own accord. However, you don't have to. You don't need to do that. Say the things that you're saying. So you know you're not the most intelligent. What is that? You know, like at the end of the day, I don't. Any normal person would not think they're the most. It's just certain things you just don't say. I'm not claiming I'm the most beautiful woman in the world. I'm not claiming. There's just set a way to go about it. The constructive criticism was just constructive in.
Why is that something you'd even want to tell your partner?
Right. That's my first point.
Why?
And so confidently and boldly saying it as well on TV,
on the internet,
on the national.
My thing is, as much as she's laughing, I know there's tears that she's holding.
Do you know how I know she was hurt? Should I tell you how I know she was hurt? Sis, she took it in because I remember she paused and then she gave it back to him because she had to say something. She said something to basically for a defense mechanism to help her get through what he said.
When someone like cusses you out or insults you, your first thing, your defense thing is to go back.
Like you give a little pause, you're like, well,
if it wasn't touching you would just be like, okay, I know I'm not the most, that's fine, blah, 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 if you were securing that. But anyways, back to my point, why is that something you'd want to say to your partner? And I'm so glad you said what you said, Temi, because maybe this is something we can talk about, or I think we have kind of spoken about in another episode when we said your boyfriend is probably sexually attracted to other girls. Go back and watch that one. But naturally there are so many beautiful women and men in this world, so
it goes without saying
your partner, the opposite sex, or the person you're with, the person you're dating, they're gonna find other people good looking. That's not something new. That's not something to cry about.
They have eyes.
I'm not gonna lose sleep over it. It just is what it is. However, because I'm trying to put myself in that. Put yourself in that situation.
I have my point. Don't worry. Yes.
Put yourself in that position.
No thanks. I don't want
Say
to.
now, you're walking out with your partner. Your partner sees a beautiful girl. He's like, oh.
Why is he speaking? Well, first of all, why are you opening your mouth to say something about someone else's appearance?
That's it.
You can think it, and I know you're most likely thinking it because I'm probably thinking it too. But why does a conversation have to be made out of it?
Imagine he says, "Oh, look how beautiful she is. Like she's my type, but I would still choose you."
Jesus, you hate me.
You're still my choice.
Okay, no.
In other words, I'm suffocating you to be here.
Whoa. No, he's saying. All right. You know what it is? My main issue with the whole rhetoric, behind what he was saying is, I personally think they were trying to do the overwoke thing. You're trying to sound so hyper intelligent. Yes, you're trying to sound so hyper intelligent,
so different
about something that doesn't need to be that complicated. Yes, as both of my sisters have said, in the world there are always going to be people that are more attractive, more intelligent, like better at certain things than us, but in a relationship where you're meant to build up the other person, why would your first thing to say as like a speech, as a way to honor your wife, be you're not the most beautiful woman in the world?
I think it was clickbait.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand why that would be your choice of words.
There's a reason why they use that part for promo.
Of course. Like, for me, I actually think, because their whole heart behind what they were saying towards the end of the video was like, because like, if we're going to be honest, like comparing your partner to other people in the world, like they are not going to be the most beautiful. But why are you comparing your partner? Why does that have to be the point of your whole speech? That's the bit to me that was just a bit like you're trying too hard to sound like
extra work,
like a philosopher. Like you're not the most beautiful woman in the world, but I still choose you. How is that nice? I don't understand why anybody would see that as a nice thing to hear.
It's almost like a backhanded compliment.
It's almost like, oh my days,
like I should feel so special for being here.
Exactly, you should be so happy that I chose you when I know how many more beautiful women there are.
I was gonna go on a tantrum.
Where in which I don't understand
wild.
in which relationship
Wild.
is now seen as like a very like comforting thing to hear.
That is fugazi.
Because for her maybe, and you know, I don't want to take away from what she said. She said she found she said she found it profound. I don't want to, if that's her truth, that's her truth.
Profound.
But me personally,
no, profound means.
No, I don't think she does.
She said she found it profound because she thinks he's a writer. Apparently, this is the best thing he's ever written for her, except one other speech he's written for her.
Oh, the letter.
Yes.
You know when you're in love with someone,
and like maybe that's the way they show each other love. Maybe
if she ever fell out of love with him, she'll see the light.
Maybe their love language is like hyper like raw, honest. Like I think in a relationship you should be honest.
That's not honest.
You should be transparent. You should be authentic.
I don't think that's honest.
There's such a thing as too honest in a relationship. I know this is so.
This is what I mean. It's not as if they're not being honest. I don't think that's the issue about honesty. I think it's the way they're being honest is the problem. You can be honest in a relationship. You should always be honest. There is a way you articulate things when you are speaking to people. When you're being honest,
specifically,
you can say things. You can say one thing in 5 different ways, and someone can interpret something that you say in 5 different ways. So it's not really about them being honest. I agree with the point. Like I said, it's how they've both said it.
I even agree with the point though.
I get the point because like I said,
you're right. There are more beautiful people in the world.
Why are you telling me?
But like for me, it's like okay. Maybe this is delusion. Yeah, it could be delusion. But I think every single person that's in a romantic relationship wants to believe that in their partner's eyes,
they're the best, and I agree.
Or they're the best.
Let's be honest, we've all experienced it when we've been with someone. I'm not looking at anybody else. I don't care about anybody else.
So
you're the only. Subconsciously
to compare me to these
subconsciously,
people.
and let's be honest, even consciously, in the grand scheme of things, I'm not saying you are the most perfect person in the world and you're the most attractive man in the world subconsciously, but you're the only one I see, and I think that's the point they're trying to make.
I don't know.
I don't even.
You don't think that's the point?
I'm telling you, that's why I don't agree with their plan.
Can I say something? Sorry, quick. I was going to ask, what's the title? Do you know
of the?
Yeah, maybe because I want to know exactly what they were talking about to get there. Maybe it will make more sense.
I think it's called "My Wife Is Not the Most Beautiful Person in the World."
Clickbait.
It's not the most beautiful. Let me see if I can find the name of the podcast specifically.
If you can't, it's fine. I just thought to put a bit of context behind it as to why they're saying these things. Maybe
you listen to it and let us know.
They called it "My Wife Is Not the Most Beautiful Woman." Honest conversation.
I might listen to
honest
it
conversation.
when I get
I think
home.
I need to listen to the full conversation as well to see like if there's any redeeming in that statement. Because for me, I don't think there's any redeeming it if you're standing strong on what you've said. Because to me, I don't agree with the point. I don't think it's the whole, because yes, we all know there's other people that are more attractive, more beautiful, more intelligent. But the end of the point was that, so in comparison, I'm still choosing you. I don't, why? Why do you
After
need to
saying
do it
all
that
these
way?
things,
His point is genuinely what he's saying. There's no like undertone or something. So. What he's saying is there are people that are more pretty than you, but I'm still choosing you.
So what's the reason why he's chosen her? I'd like to know.
Yeah, like why do you?
Because you're saying all the reasons as to what the qualities she does not have, but what is it that she has that has made you then choose her?
And do you think it's building her up to hear that? Because personally for me, if I know that something that I'm going to say to my man is honest, but like it could hurt him, I'm always going to choose to say it in a way that's graceful. Like I don't know how to explain.
I think
I'm never gonna like try and hit you in a way that
This is what I'm saying.
Like, because why?
The way you articulate it is the most important thing.
Yes.
Is that what they say? It's not what you say, it's
how you say it. And also what you said about hurting, that's a key point. If you are trying to hurt someone, that is what you do.
You go for the bit that's going to be like, whoa.
Because honestly, I'm trying to think. Of course, there are worse ways to say what he said, but he said it in one of the worst ways that could possibly be said. I think.
Do you know there's some people that that like to belittle their partner?
Or
like
and they do it.
Almost like
It's a psychological game.
That they're the best they could ever do.
It's manipulation. Because if this woman ever decided she ever wants to leave the relationship, you already know how he's going to approach it. You're not going to find better than me. I'm the one that accepted you for who you are from the beginning. I've been there when you had nothing. Do you think there's going to be other guys out there that would pick you? Those kind of things.
It's really interesting because it's the man that said it to the woman. When this thing initially went viral, it was him like doing one love speech to her, and I don't think any woman that's in love with a man would ever do a speech like this for their man. I just don't think women do that. They don't accept that relationship is toxic. A woman is not coming onto the internet and saying you're not the most beautiful man, because when a woman is in love with a man,
you don't have the most money, you don't have the best job, you're not the most, physically appealing, you don't have the most.
Women could do it still.
You think so?
I'm sure women could do it.
No, but we're saying in the context of a healthy relationship. Obviously, yes, we've seen relationships.
So would you say that this is not a healthy relationship?
I don't know their relationship.
That's what I was going to say. I don't know their relationship.
To go back to your point, of course there are definitely women who've done it where they might do it for not to profess their love, but throughout the relationship where they're like, oh, but this guy has more money, this guy has this, he has nicer cars, blah, blah, blah. We're not disputing that. Of course, there are women who do that. Yeah. But I think when it comes to
proclamation of
declaration
on
of
your
love,
man's birthday, are you the time you're going to take to do that?
It's ridiculous.
All I'm hearing is women that are spending too much money on men that don't deserve it.
Oh.
I hear it.
And do you know what's interesting about this?
I hear it.
Because this situation is not even in isolation. There was another babe that shared her love story with her man on Twitter not long ago, and she was saying I remember when I first got with him, he didn't have anything, and people were looking at her like, why is that the way you're telling your story? And do you know what it is?
Oh, I know exactly the one you're talking about. I saw that.
Wait, what is she?
She was basically was it that
she was oversharing, basically saying how the first day they went to McDonald's and then they were walking, they went for a walk, and then now he's bought her a Rolex for her birthday.
That was the story.
Basically, she's gone through all of that to then just say he bought you a Rolex. We want people to hear the Rolex, but we hear. But what was the part about the first day McDonald's walking?
To me, it's like, if it was me, I'm not gonna come on the internet and tell people that that's my story.
It's oversharing.
Because personally, I don't know what that. I don't know if that builds up my man to tell people that. Maybe it's a success story for some people, but
maybe
for me,
them too. They believe that it's a success story for them. You say when people are like, oh, we've been through highs and lows. Right. You know, for example, their partner has cheated recklessly, but now we're for some people, that's for them. They see it as like, wow, we've been through.
My thing is, I feel like if we're talking about ourselves, I think it's slightly different. Let's say you're talking about where you've come from, and I'm trying to look for it from an encouraging point of place, point of view. Let's say you're obviously trying to encourage other couples out there or people that might be struggling, that are not in the place that they should be yet, and you're trying to say that there's light at the end of the tunnel, because I'm trying to see why she would say that. But I think personally it's more acceptable if you're talking on your own behalf, you don't mind oversharing something about you, this is where I've come from, the bottom up I used to sleep in, even though it's still me. Remember that we've referenced that before. Oversharing is a drug on the internet personally. However, I can understand some people that might want to do it just to encourage. Cool, that side of things, you've done it. But I just don't feel comfortable, regardless of whether they be your partner or the closest thing to you, just saying it about someone else, this is how they started and then now we're here together.
That is my issue.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
When I'm thinking about it, this is your partner. Imagine now, your friend, say it's your birthday. Your friend, because some people whenever we speak about in a relationship context, some people might be like, I don't know. Let's speak about a friendship, because everyone can relate to a friendship aspect, right? Let's now say it's your birthday. Your friend has gone on the internet. She says, I remember when your account used to be in minus. I remember when you didn't have enough money to buy food, but now you have.
I clothed you.
Now you have a 5-figure job. Blah blah blah. Happy birthday, sis. I love you.
Oh, remember those shoes that you're wearing right now? They're mine.
Mm-hmm. When we used to go out, you didn't have any shoes to wear or nice dresses to wear, and I would do that for you.
To me, it's why are you saying that? What is
but guess what?
You're saying, okay, maybe success story. I don't understand. If there's any shred of that message that I'm putting out there that could embarrass my friend, why would I want to do that?
But guess what? Now imagine if the friend was the one that wrote that. Now imagine if the guy was the one that said, look,
it's completely different.
The responses would be so much different. I would take that in more, because it's 100%. Even though it's still oversharing, it's none of my business. I don't know why you're forcing me to read your story. But you've shared, and I wouldn't feel the way I feel that the woman has done it. It will be a different emotion.
That's exactly what I want to say, because at the end of the day, what you're saying is true. A lot of people, especially as Christians as well, there's a part of sharing your testimony that is a beautiful thing, and you should be authentic, you should be transparent, but about your own story. Yes, there's healing in me sharing the bad parts of my life, and then how God has transformed that into a beautiful thing. But I will never see it as my place to come onto the internet and talk about
Right,
somebody else's journey.
Do you know-
and how it was the trenches for them?
Do you know-
and how they were clothless?
All the
how they
women-
were shoeless, and then I will now say, but now look at them,
Guys,
What does that?
I think it's the specifics of the details.
Yeah.
You know, she could have easily said, "We came from the trenches. Now my man can buy me Rolex." Simple.
That's
Simple.
it.
You're giving
But
us
you gave
details.
details.
It's the same with this first situation we're talking about you're not the most beautiful woman. Why? Because you know what,
Guys,
if
I'm
it's-
still not over that
if
one.
it is- if it is common sense and we all know that, why do you need to highlight that in
I
the
hope
speech?
he warned her beforehand, because
I don't even know.
Do you
Think
know?
about
No,
it.
but imagine you were actually sitting here on the pod, and I'm like to Ayo or something. Oh, I know you've not always been the best friend.
I remember when your wig was always like falling back. I remember when you couldn't afford to buy lunch at school, when you were begging people for food. This is the place I should come and do it.
And you know you're there looking at her like, okay,
What's the point?
where's the declaration of love? All I'm hearing is hate. When are you gonna encourage me?
Like, it's actually mad.
Just to say, I still chose you as my friend.
No, because think about it. Of all the things, of all the things someone can say in a nice message, that's what he's saying.
Because do you know what as well? Yeah, it's different. It's different.
No,
say
I'm
for
sorry, I
instance,
can't believe
you're
this.
sharing it in a personal capacity. Like we've all gone out as a group of friends, and you're sharing that because that's a safe space.
Even that one.
No.
Even
Honestly, it's
I'm
different.
right.
Even that one, you don't like it. That's
There
fair,
has to be
what I'm saying
context.
is there's
I'm sorry.
But like when I think time and place is also the issue with these messages.
Yeah.
You're using the internet to share these messages.
when you know that message can go.
Any Tom, Dick, and Harry can get a hold of that message and use your partner as a scapegoat for laughter and bullying.
Sorry, that's verbal abuse.
Do you know what he could?
No, it's verbal abuse, because mentally that's hurting somebody.
If
She's hurting.
him and his wife,
It's gonna
say
hurt.
if that's the way they speak to each other, that's the kind of like messages she's received from him and she's used to it. He actually could have written that in her birthday card,
Yeah.
and the public message just could have been "Happy
birthday,
birthday, I love you."
I don't care if. Guys, listen to what you were saying. A woman's opened her birthday card on her birthday. She's reading, "You're not the most beautiful."
You should never ever do that. If you love me,
I
never ever in your life do that one to me.
I would never understand
You know,
it.
if I saw it in the birthday card, you want me to collapse?
What if that's how they speak to each other?
You're not the most intelligent girl in the world. You're not the most. I still chose you. Happy birthday.
And just a caveat, because I think like these conversations,
I'm really confused.
especially the first one is about a specific couple, yeah, and their relationship and what he's done. We don't know them from Adam, so we don't know if you, no, this is no disrespect to them, but this is for me, I have to share my genuine opinion. You can say that you love me so much that you told me the truth. That kind of truth, I never want to hear it.
Yeah.
Like, for real, I never
Why
want
are
to
you
hear
telling
it.
me this?
Because one, if you know that I'm an intelligent babe, then you will know that I already know that. I know I'm not the most beautiful woman in the world. I don't need my man to tell me that.
Do you know if a man?
It's the same way would you now go and tell your children you're not the most smartest child in the world?
You know, if
I didn't really want you.
If someone actually told me that, if a man did tell me that, yeah, I'll just say, who is she? Like, there has to be someone. It's a breakup speech. Because who is she? You clearly got eyes on another woman. Who
Who is the most beautiful woman in the world?
Who
then?
is she?
Who is she?
You're describing someone that's not me, so tell me who she
Yeah,
is.
who is it? Who's that person that you heard talking?
You're building someone. There's some, because do you know there has to be someone else in your mind that you're thinking of whilst you're saying these things. Tell me who she is.
Tim, that's such a good point. You know
You
why?
are.
Because if you can tell someone they're not the most beautiful person in the world,
So name the most
you have
beautiful.
a reference.
Yes.
You have a reference.
Isn't that what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Who is she?
That's
No, think about it.
What does she look like?
He's thinking about. He has to be, because for you to say your wife is not the most beautiful person in the world, it means you know what the most beautiful person looks like. So show us her.
Nah, he hates her.
He didn't mention Beyonce. Maybe that's his type, because Beyonce ain't looking twice at you, honey.
Oh.
But let's see.
okay, Tim.
No, it's Beyonce looking at him.
Okay,
Sorry.
right.
No, but no, seriously. Because if I had a husband and he came and he said, Temi, you're not the most beautiful woman in the world. You're not the most hardworking. You need to describe who she is, because let's say it's beyond whoever it is. The most beautiful woman in the world does not want you.
So in other words, we're stuck here
together. So what do you mean? Because you're not, like she said, you're not the most handsome either.
He even said, "I know."
Like, I feel like people try so hard to be
Nah,
woke.
I'm sorry, men like that. That's not the kind of man I want to be. I'm
No,
sorry
because I believe
not sorry.
I believe in honesty 100%. But there is a way to be honest.
There's a way.
And we're not saying that you should sugarcoat or you should lie or you should make the person feel like you're living in La La Land. Nobody said that. But when you're using derogatory ways of like, no, because imagine
when I say it's verbal abuse, you lot are laughing.
Imagine someone came up to your child in school and said to them, "You're not the most beautiful girl in this school." Wouldn't you go to that school and cause riots?
Because why are you talking to my
So
child?
why the hell are you going on the internet saying that about somebody that you love?
That's hate speech.
I just don't get it.
Nah.
Maybe we're missing something. I don't know.
That's why Temi says she's gonna go and watch it. She can do.
I'll listen to
essay
you. I
and
don't
thing.
mind. I actually really want to know.
You lot send essay and then
It's a hate speech. Hello, it's
I
a
really
hate
want to
speech.
know the heart behind that message.
There's no heart behind it.
I want to know, like, because for me it's like I can never see the positive. I don't see the positives. I don't.
That's why I tried to say maybe it's an understanding between them.
Of course, that must be how they speak to each other, or maybe it's how he speaks to her.
Yeah, it's a problem. I'm not gonna lie. I'm sorry.
But I just want them to be honest with their audience. Do you think that anybody wants to hear that about themselves in general?
That's what I'm saying.
Or does it make you feel like, oh, did it make him feel like he could take a sigh of relief when he heard her say, "You're not very handsome"?
I just want to know how he wanted her to react.
Do you know, like, that's what I want to know.
What do you
Like,
say? What can you even say back to that though?
Did you want
Your
her
only
to,
rebuttal can be, "Oh, neither are you." That's what she said it. There's nothing else to say. What are you gonna say? Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if that's what relationships are calling for nowadays. I don't know if that's what we're supposed to be aspiring to. Because for me, I just don't. Yes, honesty is good, but that kind of honesty, I
don't want it.
I can never get with that.
Call me delusional, naive. That's fine, but
It makes no sense.
Trust me, I'm very self-aware. I live in a world where I have eyes and I see the world. But I think even saying that to somebody is also encouraging them to compare themselves to other people.
This is what I mean. It causes it causes long-term effect. You think she's gonna leave that podcast thinking, "Ha ha ha, we've just done a great episode."
Maybe.
No, she's
Maybe that's how
not.
they feel. Like, that's why I said I don't know them. I don't
Subconsciously,
know them
I
from
feel
Adam.
like I can't
You'll
believe.
still feel a type
Yeah, who wouldn't?
No, because for real, if my friend ever said to me, "Oh yeah, you're not really the best friend a person could have," I will now be thinking, of course I will. I'll be ruminating on it. I'll be thinking, but why? Why do they feel like that? What could I do that could be better?
And who is the best friend anyone could have? I want to know.
How do I become that person?
Especially if it's someone you genuinely care about and value in your life.
But I just don't know how that information is helpful
It's not helpful
to the growth of the relationship.
Like you
not
said,
helpful.
it's derogatory.
In a way,
racist.
xenophobic,
Hate
even.
speech.
Right? No, for real. Like, because do you know, it would be so interesting to hear the rest of that conversation. Because
I think I might watch the
I think I
pod.
might listen to it because I'm like, okay.
To see where he was actually going.
And you know what?
And do you know, even if by the end of it, if he still hasn't gone anywhere with it,
Then-
at least you know you've listened to all of it for context.
Yeah. Because from that clip that they've put on the internet, it seems like he's standing 10 toes down on his point. And if that's where he wants to make his bed, then cool.
And I feel like, do you feel like they got a lot of criticism for it?
Oh, he was dragged when he
Was
first
he?
dropped that's what I'm saying. It went viral.
Thank
on Twitter
God.
at the time because he got dragged. He literally got dragged for saying that about his wife.
Good.
At the time, she was his fiance. Now she's his wife. He
And
got dragged.
he was the one that made that tweet.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
him.
Yeah.
He got dragged for it. Nigerian Twitter dragged him. UK Twitter dragged him.
It's crazy.
Dragging. And I think that's why they used it as their first episode of their podcast. I don't know if it's the first, actually. Let me not speak. I don't know.
But why they
used it as one of
speak about
the
it.
initial episodes of their podcast, because obviously it's a viral moment. It was a very big moment. And I need to go and listen to the further context. Maybe that will then give me some scope.
That's wow. Okay.
Because for real, that clip that you also put on the internet didn't help. So
Because he's basically just speaking his
he's
opinion.
doubled down.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's crazy.
It's so interesting how we spoke about investing in your partner at the beginning of the
And this is
Here
where
we
it
are.
came to.
I don't know, the video just came to my mind. I was just like, that would be...
No, I'm glad you brought that up. Wow. Let us know what you guys
I
think.
would love... It would be so interesting if they respond to this video too. I'd love to
But
know.
if you have like opposing views, like if you think that what he said is normal, like,
Tell us in the comments.
It's not
normal. I would love to know. I really want to know.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
I want to hear what you guys have got to say.
Because honestly, I don't think there's any world where that makes sense to me.
Okay.
Anyway,
that's it, guys. Thank you for sitting down with the sisters.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you on the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.